Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just found out I got roll call, I think. Is that mine?
Invocation?
I don't think we have an invocation for this.
It's on here?
It is?
It's blank.
Well, we revoked it,
Okay.
I guess. We don't usually do it. You want to do two?
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't need it.
Okay. Okay, we do roll call.
Mayor Dale Massett,
Here.
Vice Mayor Terrence Rowe,
Here?
Councilwoman Jenny Sorrell,
Here?
Councilman William Dittmer,
Here.
Councilman Richard Bloom,
Here.
City Attorney James Matthew,
Here.
City Manager Vincent Lupo.
Here.
Okay, we are ready for public input. Would anybody from the public like to speak? No? Approval of minutes. Do I have a second?
For the minutes?
It's the workshop now.
There's no minutes.
Oh, shoot, I got the wrong one. I don't even have one.
There you go.
Pretty good from memory. Okay. Let's start this over. We got there. We didn't get an invocation. Pledge of Allegiance, we got there. Roll call, we got there. Comments from general public, we got there. Comments from city manager.
No, sir.
Okay, comments from mayor and council. Bring it here.
Let's get to it.
Anybody?
No, I mean, if no one's come, I think we should implement them as they stand. I don't see any reason not to at this point.
And I agree. We did look at these. They're Newport Richies. You know, they put a lot of effort, thought into them, and like I said, we had the workshop. Nobody had anything to say about it. So I would make a motion that we approve these standards as submitted.
Say it.
I agree with Dr. Bloom on this one, but I would also like to can we research the NFPA and maybe attach a 101, the life safety code? I hear it's a broader spectrum. It's from the National Fire Protection Association and codes. I got this off the internet.
It's not in these?
No, sir. But it's easy for you to look up.
Well, you know.
I'm just
We
saying,
could-
this is the National Fire Protection Association and their code. I understand that it is a broader spectrum than even what we've got in here, so we'd be covered no matter what.
That's a great idea.
Okay. But
Just-
we don't have any copies. I don't even have an agenda.
Unfortunately, I fat-fingered my computer and got the wrong copy.
We'll
I've
get the
never made a
copies.
We
mistake.
can get copies of that.
No problem.
Yeah.
Because I hear that thing is what, that
Very big.
Yeah, just, could you mind if I interject here? That'd be like adopting, there's the Florida Building Code, okay? We don't put that in our code, we just follow the Florida Building Code.
Oh,
Okay, I believe in our code, I'd have to check it, this is the first I'm hearing, it wasn't on the agenda, that we follow that code. And I believe, Chief, that when you cite people, it's under that code already. Now, you may want other fire provisions, do you understand what I mean? You have issues such as outside backyard fires, these kind of things, but we don't have any in our code regarding fire. The only thing the fire department does is enforce that code, right? Okay, so we already cite people into that code. There are some things regarding fire that the city and county have. I know we don't have any, but that'd be up to the council, okay? But we cite under that code already, I believe.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we use this
That's the code we
already?
use, but they're pretty broad standards. The fire type things generally would be where you could have a fire. Can you have a fire at a restaurant? Can you have an open burning in your backyard? Can you burn leaves? Those are things that kind of are not in there. That only addresses it. In other words, and correct me if I'm wrong, I've never read it cover to cover, but if somebody's got a fire out there that's, even if we don't regulate fires, there's certain standards you use if it starts to get too big, But you can do things such as, kind of the list I just went. You can look at think Pasco County's got some, Newport Richie's got some. That, you know,
So, well, the only reason why this caught my attention is it said, protect people based on building construction, protection, occupancy features, which, are they, the fire department going out and with the code?
The fire department writes on the local, you know, our local codes, and then the national, the NFPA as well. So it's all, it's a combined effort of all the regulations.
Okay.
State, local, and NFPA.
When our code guy goes out, the code guy goes out too?
The fire inspectors, yes.
Okay,
They're
so
following,
he's
we're
using
following,
this.
yes, absolutely.
and they also sign, when new construction goes in, that's part of the list of who has to check it, you know, occupancy.
Yeah, so when you get your CO, in other words.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Chief,
I'm just saying it's a great.
do we
idea.
allow backyard fires?
There's no outside burning in the city of Port Richey at all.
But when Chief Fuzzle was here, he said if you had a thing that lifted it off the ground or something.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
I remember that meeting that night where he said that something in a contained chimney or something
With a
like that.
chimney,
With a
yeah.
chimney,
Yeah.
that he would be okay with that.
Well, I would be okay with outside
Can
burning.
I make a statement?
Yes, sir.
Not to disagree with you, Chief, but it's my understanding, and we've addressed this before, is we have no ban on outside fires. You can't burn your leaves, we have something about that. But if you want to have a fire in your backyard, there's no ban in this city against it, correct? We've been through this several times. I think when you look at the fire codes for Newport Richey and Pasco County, they have bans on those kind of things. You can have a fire in your backyard, unless it's too dangerous pursuant to that.
Correct.
And those standards you're talking about, how big it could be, but there's no ban on outside fires.
Okay, so it could be on the ground, it could be in one of those pot
Fire
things.
pit type thing.
Yeah, that's left to the discretion of the fire chief,
Yes.
generally. It's pretty much what happens here, you know.
Are you gonna digress when you come up, or are you gonna digress now?
No,
We always used to run with marshmallows and when we
Right.
were burning something, we'd have marshmallows and hot dogs, and that seemed to make it all right. Does that make it all right
it's,
now?
I mean, you can't have a massive bonfire to do s'mores, let's be real. So if you've got it contained in that little chimney, I remember the conversation with Chief Fussell, and they said that would be acceptable.
Okay. All right, where do we wanna go with this?
Well,
We're
we have
ready
a
with
motion to
two?
adopt these standards as we had looked at and reviewed.
Second.
Can I comment on the motion? You can't make a motion to adopt them at this meeting. You would make a motion to have me bring back an ordinance.
Oh, you're right, we're at a workshop,
Okay,
sorry
at a
about that.
workshop. While I'm on that subject, I can bring it back one of two ways. If we're just gonna, I can bring it back for a first reading, can bring it back as a draft. You wanna move on it, we can bring it back as a first
I think we
reading.
bring it back as a first meeting.
Yeah, and if
First
you make a
reading,
minor
move it up.
change or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd like to comment it once you get the discussion on it, just so I can explain a few things.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure,
Is it on the
that's a
table?
great
Okay.
idea.
Can you
Uh,
elaborate on the outside burning part? I don't know how that got in.
Well, that's a different, right now, we're discussing the adoption of the commercial maintenance standards.
Yeah,
I gladly will, but the discussion on the table is commercial maintenance standards.
Also had it.
Just so everybody understands, and believe me, I'm not saying this is a bad thing or anything, because this was an issue before. When you're looking at this, 85% of this, until you get to, on this here, this portion, which is duties and responsibilities, the last section, which is on page 4, okay? You'll notice it talks about duties and responsibilities there. That's different than the rest of the Pasco County Code. So as you'll see, it says, no person shall maintain or operate any commercial business. So all of these, so any violators, we'd be citing the tenant, okay, for all of these, all right? Until you get to Section 5, duties and responsibilities, and it's the owner of a structure shall be responsible. This is where the owner is responsible for maintaining at the minimum standards required by the section unless his lease with the operator, that's a fancy word for saying commercial tenant, provides otherwise. So from number 5 on, what would happen is the citation, the warning notice would go to the owner, and if they produce a commercial lease which states that the tenant is responsible, then the next warning would go to the tenant. Okay, so that's a matter of information.
Yeah. no,
It's
that's-
fine.
that's
It's
The
pretty
lease-
standard.
It would go to leaseor, and then, if the lease, spoke differently, then it would end up with the,
Just-
in the
just-
leasee's lap.
Just for that last section, the
Yeah.
rest of it's all on the tenant who's
Yeah, no,
operating the
that's
business.
straightforward.
It makes sense, I'm
Oh, yeah, that's
just pointing it
straightforward.
out so you know what's happening. I can bring it back for first.
Can I
reading.
summarize this? We have a motion to accept the, Newport Re-
it's the workshop.
No, the motion is, I bring it back for first reading. That's-
okay.
Yeah, because we can't do it here at the workshop.
What was the non-motion you made?
Was
The one you were just saying. The non-motion is what you were saying, yeah.
It's like antimatter.
And then I have another motion.
Okay.
Well, you gotta vote on
You
this
have
one.
another non-motion, unless, all
vote on
right,
this
we have a
one.
motion
I'll
and a
put it down.
second, I have
You gotta
no
vote on this
idea.
one?
Yeah, you gotta vote on this.
You want- All in favor? Aye. The second non-motion.
No, this is a motion. Motion to adjourn.
Undebatable.
Second.
That's it. You got here too late. Hope you didn't have anything burning in your